Welcome back, #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We roll along, and this week, the Fan Morning Show had an interesting interview with Antonio Brown, the first time he's spoken here in Pittsburgh with a Pittsburgh outlet. Chris, I'll start with you on this one. So let's say that he is legitimately trying to make a comeback, and I still have to see a lot more. But there are a lot of teams out there that may want to take a shot at him if you think you're close. If you're one of those teams, would you do it?
I'd have to have the perfect situation. It would have to be a situation with a lot of consistency at the top, with a very strong head coach in place, and a quarterback in place too, who you wouldn't have to worry about any faltering on his part either. It would take the perfect situation, a place where you're maybe one skill position player away from breaking through to that next level, but it would take, I would have to bite my tongue if I were a GM or VP of player personnel to consider it, but there will be someone out there that does.
I don't know, man. I've been around a long time, and I know talent trumps all, that the great players get chance after chance after chance. But I wouldn't touch this guy for anything. And what really drove me over the top was the video he released, you know, where he's cursing out the police, cursing out the mother of 3 of his children, with those young children right there watching. Just too erratic, too over the top for me. I personally think he's going to go the way of Colin Kaepernick. I don't think anybody is going to touch him despite his talent.
Ron, if Tyreek Hill can get back in the league and play a huge part in the Super Bowl after what he did, then unfortunately Antonio Brown.
Well, yeah, but I think part of the thing with Tyreek Hill is he did what he did, then he served his time and all that other stuff, and for the most part he kept his nose clean, and so someone gave him a shot. Antonio Brown, this has been like 2 or 3 years of him acting like, well, at least 2 years of him acting like a knucklehead. There's no way I would touch him. I wouldn't want any parts of him on my team. I wouldn't want him around my younger players. I wouldn't. He'd be a headache by his 3rd day. And the fact is, that interview you did, which was wonderful, everything I needed to hear about the fact that he's still delusional and still doesn't understand what he did and how much he's at fault. That tells me that this is a guy I don't want around.
He quit on 2 teams. He quit on the Steelers. He quit on Oakland. I guess he was on his best behavior the week he was in New England, but you know, then the rape and sexual assault allegations rose and they got rid of him. There's just no way I could sell him to my fans, no matter how good he is. I just can't.
Yeah, you know, a funny thing, though, is some of those fans may be willing to do it as long as you can help your team win. And it seems like, to your point, Ron, earlier, winning trumps everything. People were willing to put up with just about everything. We'll see. He's still trying to get on with this, and whether or not it results in another team, we'll find out in time. We'll take a break, come back with more right here. It's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown each and every Sunday night.